Great. I saw that on your Instagram. Okay, we're live. Sue Zimmerman, live from New York City. Oh my gosh. Welcome to Highlights, friend. I'm so happy you're joining us. My highlighters are just chomping at the bit to be able to spend time with the one, the only Instagram expert. How you doing?
I'm great. I love being in New York City. So much energy here. It's great.
Oh my gosh, what are you doing there?
I'm meeting up with my CEO who's here and one of our lead coaches, and we are just kind of regrouping. And our team has grown so much that we're always looking to improve our internal structure within the business. And we just took the train from Boston, where I live, and we're having fun. And we're just really focusing in on growth because my business is on fire.
Congratulations. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
So I'm going to text you this link because we're going to edit this out for the real podcast. We just go live to please the algorithm. So let me just share this post with you, and we will send in more options. I'm going to send you the link. All right. And you should have it. So we are going to be actually talking today on the podcast about some of the questions that I get from my highlighters and also my social media spa goers. And these are your people. I mean, this is who you're talking to every day.
Yeah.
And so what I love about your content and what I love about your platform and why I believe you're so successful, besides the fact that you're extremely organized and have a phenomenal team, is because you are not one of those social media gurus who just throw around buzzwords from a 30,000 foot view and talk about things like engagement every 5 seconds and, relationship building. You are uber tactical. And I have certainly sent your YouTube videos to clients of mine on more than one occasion because I love how you don't bullshit. I mean, you're like, look, yes, relationship building, yes, personal branding, but how do you do that? And so I love how you go so into the nitty gritty. So in this podcast episode, highlighters, you're in for a treat because Sue does not beat around the bush. She's from Massachusetts. She doesn't mince words. She doesn't F around. So it's going to be a super exciting episode. So before we dive into the content itself, tell us about how you became the Instagram expert. I know that you had a shop in Cape Cod and you started kind of doing some ebooks, some content, some events, but give us kind of your story and how you got here at this point.
Yeah, I love that you dug back enough to see that we had this ebook. When I learned about online marketing and discovered the power of Instagram from my seasonal shop on Cape Cod, I knew that I wanted to help other people understand this phenomenal marketing tool because I literally had people coming into my store and saying, I want to buy that anchor bracelet, or I want to buy that tunic or that top. And so I cracked the code and I wanted to teach other people, but I had no idea how to do that. And so I went to a conference and then I went to a mastermind, and I heard at the mastermind, you should have a #1 ebook. It can launch you as the expert, as the authority when you become the #1 author of an ebook. I'm like, great. So I'm like, Morgan, my CEO, I'm like, we need to write an ebook and Instagram Basics for Business. This was 8 years ago, I think. And I learned how to get that to #1. And so when I started getting interviewed on podcasts, I was introduced as, and here's Sue Zimmerman. She's the author of the #1 ebook, Instagram Basics for Business. And now I'm like cringing at that book, because that is not how we lead our customers, our followers on the journey anymore. We have very high level opt-ins, meaning resources. Like if you type the word captions in my DM, you get our copy and paste post builder. And we're really proud of that. And so it's funny that you did your due diligence and you saw that. You're like, you're an author. I'm like, oh, wait, I don't want that.
You cringed. You were like, no. Well, I'm thrilled that, first of all, I can commend you and applaud you on your crystal clear vision of who you are, what you stand for. And let's start with that, actually, because you walk that walk. So let's start there. So for the network marketers, for the small business entrepreneurs, for my highlighters that are listening, a lot of them, they send DMs every day, and you get these too. There's a lot of caps lock, a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, a lot of WTF Instagram, a lot of hate out there because they get so frustrated. So do you feel like maybe one of the sources of frustration for our followers is that maybe they haven't taken the time to like really define their why and their platform as clear as you just did for your business?
I don't know if it's so much the why. I think it's the how am I different from everyone else who's doing what I'm doing, and leaning into those quirks of your personality and the things that make you stand out. You know, for me, it's a lot of different things. It's my wardrobe, it's my bright colors, it's my no BS persona, as you mentioned. It's being real, it's being raw, it's being midlife and being confident. And, you know, you become a magnet to those who are attracted to what I believe the energy, the energy that you put out and how you show up with the knowledge or your story behind that. So you just heard me talk about how I leaned into teaching Instagram. It was organic. It came, I had no idea I was going to teach Instagram. I had this great successful store. I was doing 6 figures in 2 months. I had a staff of 7. I loved it. I loved it all. And then I'm like, wait, I can teach this. And I love teaching. I used to teach social media. I taught scrapbooking on QVC.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I taught art classes, guys.
Cool.
I've had 18 businesses. So this is not my first rodeo, but I did know that it always went back to the relationships and the ripple effect from really connecting deeper and intimately. I like to use the word intimately with just one person. And I still do that to this day, even though I have almost 140,000 followers on Instagram and, you know, followers on every social platform. I spend the time every day either sending a text or sending an Instagram DM or a voice message or video or something that reminded me of someone, and I stay top of mind. And because our business grows every day because of what other people say about the results from our program, Ready, Set, Grow, and our coaching program, Ready, Set, Pro. So we just have a great reputation. Our clients get great results, and it comes from the tactics and strategies that we teach in a systematic way. Work if you show up and do the work. And it's not just sending a DM, letting me know that you want me to be on your team and that I should buy your oils. Like that doesn't work.
So let's unpack that a little bit. Okay. So in my social media spot, I talk a lot about what I call like the hey girl crap. Okay. And the hey girl crap is the copy and paste multi-scroller. Sue, loved you in high school, haven't talked for X number of years, want to buy my shit. Now we all know, to your point, digital differentiation does not begin looking and sounding like everyone else. And I always say, if you're still playing the numbers game, your days are numbered. So how can someone who is operating in what is arguably one of the most saturated landscapes with one of the toughest stigmas to shatter. And the gals I work with and a few good men, they really believe in their product. They love their product. And I have a couple girlfriends that are in like that 1 or 2% that actually are making the 6-7 figures. Now that's a rarity in the business, but they really believe in it and they love it. And so what is the first step for someone listening who's like, okay, but I'm selling a commodity product. I'm selling a wellness beauty product that you can find in so many places. We know that they're going to buy Sue or they're going to buy Aaron. They're buying you. But when you are selling a product that a lot of people are selling, what's like the first question or step they could take to uncover what makes them different besides like the quirky outfit? Like what's another thing that you can think about?
It's literally their story and their attachment to that product. And so if you there has to be some results that changed your life or your family's life that fixed something. And so that is the proof of this works because it worked for me. This worked because it worked for my child. I lost this much weight or got healthier because I did this. It has to be result driven. And in our in this online space, there is a lot of BS and there's a lot of people just like talking about do this one thing and this will happen, but there's no proof and they don't have a successful business. And I'm like, people just Google people's names to find out if they speak the truth. Like reputations are online. And if they're not showing up and they're saying they're an expert in something and there's not testimonials or proof, that's a red flag for me. And so for you to gain that credibility, you have to show up on video talking about your story in your stories on Instagram, in your feed, potentially on an IGTV or maybe on a live or maybe in a reel. But there's a strategy, and it all starts with defining your content buckets and how those align with your mission, your message, your product, or your service.
How many content buckets do you recommend that someone has?
So we in Ready, Set, Grow recommend having 5 to 7 that you rotate. And this is what my team and I do. And we use Trello as our tool to keep content organized. We're 2 weeks ahead, and all the pieces are in Trello. Now, if you're a solopreneur or an entrepreneur, you don't really need Trello, but you need a system to have all the pieces. We also use Plannable, which is a workspace that we give to our students so that we can be part of their workspace and see the flow of their content. And it really, if you stay committed to your content, your business will grow. If you are posting on the fly, you are treating it like a hobby, not like a business. And so if you are a hobbyist post on the fly. A business owner has a strategy, and we plan our strategy. We have weekly strategy meetings on my social team, and we make sure that the content's in alignment with our audience and what's going on in the world. And every piece of the content you see is optimized, from the alt text to the hook, the description, the call to action, the hashtags. It's like, we don't just do it to post and then ghost. We do it to build community and connections and get people to be interested to opt into our email list. And one of the most successful things that we're doing right now, Erin, is telling people to just type 3 keys in the DM.
I love that.
And I have Beth the bot. Beth is my middle name. I have Beth the bot, who delivers you our free hour plus training that teaches you the 3 keys to attracting and getting the right followers. And so even if you don't sign up for what we offer at the end of the webinar, you will absolutely walk away with learning the 3 keys that you must learn in order to treat Instagram like a business.
Fabulous. Well, we're going to link to that in the show notes, and I'm signing up for that myself. I can't wait. Okay. So let's talk about, I don't know if you're experiencing this, because you are such a guru in this particular platform, which I love that you niched down. And I'm sure that's probably when you saw your business explode, was when you weren't like this social expert for everyone, but you are the Instagram gal. Same thing happened for us with my agency. As soon as we said we are the world's only live event social media agency, we exploded. We got the Oscars, Fashion Week, all these incredible clients, because we weren't just like for everyone. We turned down, reputation management. We turned down community management, and that's when it exploded. So same as what you've created with your platform, which I love. Everyone says to do it, but no one has the balls to do it. So I love that you did it. So my question is, if in an Instagram world where I personally am certainly experiencing some perfection fatigue, like I'm sort of over my beautiful aesthetic. Like, I'm over my perfect preset. I'm like, and I know it's not posting on the fly, but I'm just trying to make more peace with like authenticity. So what would your advice be when it comes to balancing, like, because we all love to see a beautiful aesthetic, but we hate to like be locked in by it. So how do we balance that?
Yeah, no, I love this. And this is really the movement, because perfect just doesn't fucking exist. Like, let's be real. And so, yes, I have the luxury of having a shit ton of photo shoots, because we do. And I have great photographers, and we've got really great photos. And you do see those mixed in with many that are just from my iPhone, and many when I'm a sweaty, hot mess, and, not all glammed up with makeup and kick-ass outfits from, Chanel or wherever else I shop.
Just rollerblading along the coast. Last time I FaceTime you're rollerblading along the Cape.
I mean, so I like to take people with me where I go and make them feel like they're sitting right next to me, and living vicariously through the lifestyle that I have, and the work-life balance that I have, and the priorities that I have. And, I have a degree in nutrition. Like, that is my background that I learned in college. And my health is everything. And so that is what's going on in my mind every day, and how I can be healthier and take care of Sue B, so I can be vibrating at the energy that is kind of necessary to keep scaling and growing this business, even though I have a team of 20 and I have a CEO who runs my business. And I don't make decisions daily. My team does, and they tell me literally what to do and where to go and who to talk to. And it's a beautiful thing. But with what you just mentioned, we know that what really is performing are those more less candid, let's hold the coffee and smile off to the side and like hold the mug and like all the, like the blogger lifestyle photos like are gone. Those are from yesterday. Today it's like, we say this real, raw, and authentic. And it's like you gotta really do the inner work with yourself and know the mindset of how you want to be existing in this world as you, and really loving on yourself and all that you stand for. And that comes with having the confidence, which most people just don't, and they feel judged, and you have to have thick skin. I can't even tell you how many, oh my God, you remind me of Barbara Streisand or Sarah Jessica Parker. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good thing. So
yeah, hashtag you're welcome. Those are two of my icons. Are you serious? Like, hello, I wish I got that. I get like Rachel Ray sometimes, and I'm like, really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my last one was Angelina Jolie, and I'm like, wait, where's that?
Well, that's a good one.
Where's that even connection? Like, you're a superstar like her. I'm like, okay, that's a little much, but it's
but
like
you're like, where's Brad? Because I'm into it. No, just kidding. That's over. But no.
Yeah, so yeah. I think to really hit home with your listeners, I think it's so important to not stress over that, but there needs to be some memorable aspect to how you show up in the scroll. And so often you will see colors that are on brand. And by the way, yes, all the colors you see in my feed and in my brand are literally a lot of the colors in my wardrobe, and my closets are like color coded. And I just love color. Like it makes me happy, even though I'm here in New York and, the color is black and white. I'm standing out like, neon over here. It's all good,
Well, let's talk about why people don't feel confident showing up authentically. So, I mean, I can tell you from my personal experience that there's a reason why we feel afraid to be ourselves, because normal us, we're not always like dancing in the rain and like sipping champagne and like having a bubble bath and a cup of coffee. That's just not real life. That's the highlight reel. So I think what is challenging for some of us is when you show up authentically, it means you're showing the good and the bad and maybe even the ugly. And from a marketing and branding standpoint, that is super scary. For example, you and I connected over Clubhouse when my dog died a couple months ago, and you gave me this incredible advice from you losing your dog. And that's how we connected. That's how we vibed. And I remember I was so depressed. I did this episode on grief. Basically, I wasn't like motivational speaker Erin. I was like really dark, upset Erin to my people. And it was incredible because 98% of the feedback that I got was like, I'm going through it too. I feel seen. So much love and connection and real and raw. And I did get one client reaching out that was like, so we're really sorry about your dog. But our conference is, in September, and you're the motivational speaker. Like, are you going to be good by then? Because like no one wants to hire a depressed motivational speaker, basically. And in that moment, I was like, you know what? I mean, if you don't love me at my worst, you're not going to get me at my best. And I'm happy to make a recommendation for someone else if you're feeling nervous. But I think that kind of maybe losing business or losing what you've worked so hard to perfectly curate, I think that's at the heart of the fear we have of showing up in a way that's not Instagram perfection. So what would you say is a way that we can feel more confident? Again, you don't want to be like going live every day, like boohooing over your dog. I get that, but that's just life. I mean, sometimes you're not always living your best life. And what do you think people should do if they feel afraid to show that?
I think it's important to show it. And like you, I shared it in a carousel post tribute to Mr. Cody, who was kind of internet famous. And we even have a GIF of him, and he lived 16 and a half years. And so my followers on Instagram only knew me with him by my side. And he was such an extension of my personality that people loved. And so that loss needed to be mourned with my audience as well. And yeah, we got a shit ton of engagement on that. And your true followers and friends come out and support you. it's called being a human and caring.
Mhm.
And so that is very necessary.
Yeah.
And just like sharing that loss, I just shared like the new puppy I'm getting in my stories, not in my feed yet.
Aw,
And my team is like, okay, now we need to create a new gift for Spivak. Spivak.
congratulations.
Yeah,
That's so exciting.
I know. So,
I love it. I love it. Okay, so a little bit technical. Let's talk about paid versus organic. I'm sure you get that question all the time.
mhm.
Um, for those of our listeners who, again, a lot of them are posting, on the fly. It's not a hobby, but they're like busy moms. They don't have the team. They're in line at the carpool. They're doing it on the side. They don't have time sometimes to map the whole thing out. For them, when it comes to their frustrations around like reach, do you advise that they just keep playing by the Instagram rules and like wait for it to come? Or do you think that if they aren't seeing the results they want, that they should start to explore the extremely complicated, ever evolving, even more complicated lately world of paid social?
Well, great question. I think that they need to slow down and carve out time to do it right. You can't have success on the fly. You just can't, because you haven't sat down to think about the long game of the post. The post leads your customer on a journey that continues with the next post, and each post builds as a collective whole of who you stand for and what you represent. And even with teaching Instagram, we've niched down to teaching Instagram to beginners, to those who have not made money or converted yet, even if you've been on the app for 8 years, and to those who have been on the app but just aren't getting results. So we know who we're talking to. And to take it even a step further, my audience is typically women 40 and older.
Mm-hmm.
And so they, they trust me. They're like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're not 20. And I'm like, yeah, I have a lot of experience from success. And it's just like you become relatable, right? So the posting on the fly, I will tell you, will never yield a successful online business. It won't. It just, it starts there. So that habit needs to be changed. And if it means stopping posting on Instagram for a week to collect your thoughts on what does my audience really need to see today?
Mm-hmm.
What will help them today? And how can I show up and really map that out? It just will not be sustainable.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you say that, because we did a pause recently and I was so nervous because, people are like, never let your story go dark, right? Like, and they're like, even if you have one.
Where did you get that advice? Like that's
all
not
the
even,
time. Just never.
that's not accurate advice. Where'd you get it?
I don't know. Someone told me that, but I don't know. Anyway, but so it was funny because we let the story go dark, and I ended up, we did our strategy and whatever. So we come back and my views on my story were like 6 times as high. So don't be afraid if you're listening to this. A lot of people talk about that, but don't be afraid to like take the pause that Sue's recommending. You're not going to get just annihilated by the Instagram and shoved in a corner for 6 months like people are so afraid of happening. So I love that you said like take that step back to take that leap forward,
Yeah, the power is in the pause. The power is in the pause, and you have to pause to grow and scale and reflect.
Yeah. So do we have to, in your opinion, do we have to hitch our wagon to what Instagram wants us to all the time? Is that how we have to play the rules? Like, poor Hemplo. I know for a fact, I've done a couple reels and I know that's the way to get views. That's the way to get reach. It's the way to grow your business. Reels, reels, reels. Everyone's reeling up a storm. I was an Irish step dancer. I had a different kind of reel growing up. Okay. But what I want to say is this. I do not want to do dance moves. I do not want to do pointing with things. I think it looks awkward and dorky, and it's not me. It's not authentically me. I don't want to do them. So I am like digging my heels in so hard against reels. And the couple that I've done have yielded incredible results. So how do we reconcile who we are, what we enjoy doing, and then what drives results and what Instagram wants us to do?
Yes. So my question to you is, what kind of result, when you say I got results doing this, what were the results for you?
For me, I have a link in my bio and it's pre-orders for my book. It's signups for my course.
Great.
I mean, it drove dollars. And so I'm like,
Great.
damn it. I don't want to do this, but it's working. I hate it though.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to hear you didn't say, and I got 10,000 views, because the views don't pay the bill. So
yeah.
So It's interesting that you say that. We are putting together a really cool bundle that has to do with Instagram stories and reels. And the tagline is that we're going to teach you how you're going to leave this live workshop without having to dance or lip sync to create.
I love it. I will be there.
to create reels, because you know, you can have such great success from just the essence of a message. One of our best ones that I did recently was just simply saying, you're not too old and it's not too late. And that was it. Yeah. And so many people needed to hear that message. And that message is like, OMG, I so relate to her and that message. Yeah. And that takes people to wanting more and tapping the link in your bio to see what's there and taking them to the next place and the next place. And so our goal is to always lead each person, because behind every avatar is a person, where they need to go next. And some people just want our YouTube content, which is free. And you can type YouTube in my DM to get to my channel. And some people want to fast track their results. Like, that's me. Like, I want to coach. I want to get here. I'm not wasting my time. Like, get me to the top. And we have 2 coaches and a very successful business. And so we've got this great course, Ready, Set, Grow, that I've mentioned, that anyone can purchase at any time. But when you purchase it through the 3 Keys training, we have a fast action bonus with a discount. Nice. And then, and then we have this application process to work with me and my team. So we, like you, drive results from everything that we do every single day. Otherwise, I wouldn't be just here for kicks and giggles. It's just, you know.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So before we wrap up, so first of all, highlighters, I'll put the link to all of this incredible resources in the show notes. I will be signing up. I hope you guys do too. I encourage you to. Before we kind of wrap, thank you for all this great, super candid advice. Let's end on a personal note. Yeah. I would love to know, what does success look like for you?
Oh, such a great question. So a couple of things. So success for me has been being a role model to my 3 daughters. I have 3 daughters. I have twins, and they are fiercely independent and have fallen into the thing in their life that brings them joy. So my oldest is just got her master's, and she's she's school psychologist, and my twins, one's in Israel, one's in LA, and they are living the laptop lifestyle, doing very much to what I do in this sustainable living kind of earth wisdom, you know, being one with the earth and all of its beauty. And it's just so nice to watch. So as a mother, I'm going to say to all of you, when your children grow up and they don't need you every day, that's success to me. And the second is within my business, being that this is my 18th business, this is the business that really has had the greatest impact on my life, because I not only make change daily with impacting other people and seeing them grow, pushing them to places they've never been, and then seeing their businesses grow. That brings me the joy as well. But having the ability to work from anywhere, and no matter where I travel, I get to meet people from our community. So I'm doing a meetup here at the hotel that I'm staying at, but whether I'm in Iceland or Budapest or La Jolla, I always do a meetup, and I always get to meet the online community members. And to me, that's like, we have a global business.
Yeah.
You know? And that is so different from the life that I knew back in the day when I had my store on Cape Cod, which was just very local based customers, right?
So good. Well, I hope that we get to meet in real life and take this relationship off the screen and into the real world. But Sue, you rock. I love your candor. Your content is fire. And my highlighters are so thankful, as am I, for you spending time with us today. Thanks so much.
Yeah, it was great being here. Thanks.
Have fun in New York.